How many times have you received a message, something in writing, and you thought, wait, is that a person? In today's episode, I want to talk about the writing generator technology, kind of those auto-generated things that are available to us now, artificial intelligence writers, all that good stuff. And I really want to break down, are these our writing friends or our writing foes? You can probably already guess what my main view is, but I want to dive in a little deeper. So I'm glad you're here. Let's get started. What's the deal with the artificial intelligence writing generator technology that's out there today? Is it our writing friend or our writing foe? Welcome to another episode of The Written Compass. Shana Hartman here, embodied writing coach, and I'm super jazzed and a little bit terrified to talk about this today. So, this has been something that's actually been tugging at me since I started the podcast, but I thought, let me get y'all in, let me get you digging the podcast and digging the content, and then I'll start, throwing some podcast daggers out into the world. Here's the deal. Bottom line is, I want people to feel aligned with the content, the words that they're putting out there, especially when it comes to writing their book. So if receiving or using some kind of artificial intelligence writing automatic generator thing feels aligned for you, fabulous. However, I want to break down why it may be your friend versus being your foe in today's episode. So I'm just going to kind of walk through. I've got messy notes here today, so I'm just going to be talking through these. So I'm going to start with actually the friend part. So I will be completely transparent. I have been asked to use these I do consulting for other companies and support them in really embodying their core messages for their business and helping make sure that their emails, their landing pages, their social media posts, and more all match up to that embodied core message. And so in that, I have been asked to use certain things like headline generators for like a subject line or the headline on a website or something like that. And when I use this, and I'm not going to get into the details of which ones, there's tons out there. You can just do a quick Google search for like writing generator or writing generator technology. I'm getting one on my social media advertisement over and over. Now that I do this podcast, I'll probably get way more. But it was kind of cool to play with it, right? So the idea is like you plug in a few words. Who do you, it might ask you, what's the some of the core words, the buzzwords, the key terms that are going to be in your email, for instance, who your audience is, and if anything, just a few other details. It's kind of like a little template, right? You plug those things in, beep-a-da-bob-a-da-boo, the algorithms work behind the scenes, and then out pops a subject line. And I'll be totally honest, there were times where I was asked to write an email or support the writing of an email, particularly the subject line. And I found it, okay, cool. That's kind of cool. Like I might not have come up with that on my own. And so for this particular moment, it felt kind of aligned. It also helped. There was some speed needed for getting this content out. We were on deadlines. And so it helped myself, it helped the team get some ideas for what might be an aligned subject line or a powerful headline, right? That's where it can be helpful. Like if it gives you ideas and maybe even you use them, great, so be it. No problem there, right? Where it starts to get tricky is if you're coming to this thing because you feel like you can't do it on your own. That's where we're coming to something from a place of lack. And so one thing I like to check in is like you actually may not need these things, right? And if it's causing you to bypass like actually being connected and learning how to get connected to your work, to your message, to what it is you want to share with the world, and you feel like this is a way to put it out there in this kind of perfect, should kind of way, then I really want to lovingly ask you to check in with yourself on that, really do a gut check and ask, is this really supportive of me? Do my clients need this in order to work with me? Do I need that perfect subject line, which by the way, doesn't exist? And these AI automated generated things kind of give the impression that there is some perfect way to do it. Now, I get it. There's algorithms out there. There's click rates. There's things that, the powers that be, the digital powers that be, have formulated and calculated that if you have these kinds of words, then you're more likely for someone to open it. And if that is really important, let me back up. Of course, we want people to open our stuff. We want people to see it. It's not that it's not important to you. If it is the reason for generating your content, which I'm guessing it's not, then this might be a time to check in, right? So I want people to connect with me. I want people to resonate with the content that I put out. I want them to read something and go, oh my gosh, how did Shana know that that's what I was thinking or feeling, or that's what I needed to hear today? Or that made me think of, this idea, or I'm inspired to go write or get started on my book, or whatever it may be. I don't feel connected to having that have to be put out in a certain way that sometimes these auto-generated content things imply, right? Like if you don't do it, then that experience is not going to happen. And I call BS on that, right? So it's not, I think this is a potential writing foe if it is allowing you to bypass the work of actually connecting to yourself, your message, your mission, all that kind of stuff. And if you feel like that's going to get you clients that are aligned because you've got the perfect algorithm subject line, I'm just here to tell you that's probably not going to be the case. Or you may get a few people, but I'm going to guess it's not because of your subject line, right? And the other thing that gets tricky is it can feel really easy. I put in 3-4 words instead of having to, come up with 10 headlines and suss out which ones I like the most. I put in 2, 3, 4 words and then boom, something else produces 10 headlines for me. That can feel really easy, right? That can feel really light. But the thing is it actually takes more time because you're in there trying to plug and work the system, work the technology over and over and over. I actually found myself with the one that I was using for the email subject lines. It actually took me a little bit more time sometimes to come up with a subject line if I had just taken a moment and just connected or spitballed with a team member and just, came up with something a little bit more organically. So it sometimes can feel easy, but sometimes can also take a lot more work and time that you don't realize. And the final thing is oftentimes folks can tell. How many times have you gotten some kind of automated message from, in a DM or, email, and you're like, wait, is that for me? Now, full transparency, in my emails that go out to my list, my audience, I will generate, I will use the same story or content that I want to share, and I will put people's personalized names in there. That is a automatically generated thing, because I do want them to feel, and I genuinely, when I'm writing them, want them to feel connected, because I am connected. I'm connected to the message. I'm thinking of my audience. I'm thinking of the people who are going to read my emails. It is a genuine thing. Now, is that name automatically generated? Yes. But I try to make sure that it's not like, I don't want it to feel like I'm just writing to Shana, right? Like, I want people to realize, like, this is what it is. I'm not trying to pretend like I specifically wrote that email only to Shana, right? But you've gotten those messages before where it's like, wait, I know this is automated. I know this isn't a real person, but it's trying to make it feel like one. So again, if that is a line for you, great. I'm going to guess, because you're here listening to me on this podcast, and just from what I know, the people who hang out with me, it's probably not. So you could probably tell that I'm a little more the writing foe perspective when it comes to writing generated technology, writing generators, artificial intelligence for writing. And I think it is a real disservice, because it makes us feel like we don't have something that we need, when I think we have everything we need to share our words in the ways that feel most empowering to us, and to have something come in and say, nope, this is the better way. If you do it this automated way, really kind of diminishes our power. So I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But I'm interested to hear what others have to say, how you think about this, if you've used these things, if there's some that you like, I'd love to hear that too. We're here for all of it. But I hope you found this episode, if you've been considering these things, I hope you found it helpful just to get a little more connected, get a little more embodied, and make sure it is really aligned for you. As always, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Written Compass. If you are enjoying this content, do me a favor and go and review the podcast. This allows me to share and get these messages out to the people who really need them, who we want to read their books in the future. You can also go and share your thoughts and tag me at Shana Hartman _ on Instagram. Again, this is just a way for us to get connected and share the writing love. And if you know that you are ready to write your book, that message that's been burning inside of you for a long time, then I want to talk to you. My team and I want to talk to you. Head on over to shanahartman.com and click Work with Us. From there, you'll see an application to explore and see if writing your book is your next best step.